Welcome to the Smoke Pit. Joining us again, Justin Eggen. How you doing?
I'm doing well, doing well. Thank you for having me, Dan.
So, for those of you who remember, Justin is a national award-winning poet, former Marine, combat veteran, who has now set his sights on some political aspirations.
Yes, yes.
So we welcome back. I've been listening to the Adahi podcast that you put out. I really enjoy that.
Oh man, thank you. I'm gracious for the feedback, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. I try to bring my energy up and make sure my voice is sounding good, and I try to do the best I can with the characters.
Yeah.
But I have fun with it. I have fun, so thank you. Yeah, I try to put out as many episodes as I can per week. But yeah, I have fun with that. I like doing that.
Yeah, so you can check out Adahi if you are a fan of Revolutionary Time era historical drama. Loosely based on historical events. There's some real historical characters in there. There's also some very creative plot devices. So if you like the feel of paper in your hand, check out the book. If you're like me and you burn through audiobooks, check out the Adahi podcast on Apple. And is it also on Spotify?
Yes, it's on Spotify and Google Podcasts as well.
Well, fantastic. So you uh, served your time in Afghanistan, and you came home, and eventually you had this moment where you were kind of looking around, and you wanted to make a difference on a different scale. You've helped a lot of people with your combat poetry, sort through emotions and things like that. But now you want to take it a step further, and you want to run for office. So, can you tell us a little bit about the position you're running for, the district that you're running for, and kind of what led you to make that decision?
All right. So you know, politicians have been for a very long time, kind of seemingly like dispo or framed as like an enemy of sorts, right? To like the natural populace, I guess, or some sort of way. And I really feel um, that the political avenue is a way that us as human or United States citizens and residents can have a real say in shaping and molding our nation as we move forward. And as the older politicians, retire or leave office, and somebody's gonna have to step up to the plate and take these seats and continue the work and continue working. And my name is Justin Eggen, like you said, and I'm running for a state representative in Florida for District 89. And as a state representative, you go up to the state, you write legislation, you work on legislation, you try to pass some bills, you try to get allocations and funding for your district from the state funding, bring it down to the district, to the municipalities, trying to just work and better the district as a whole. And as I started seeing, as I've been going, as I went to college and I started seeing, learning more and experiencing more about politics and politicians and local politics and local policies, and how you can really make a difference and really change things, and really or help things not change so radically, right? You can bar things from happening that are radical changes, or you can help things change that actually do need to be changed and do need to be that will help the people of the district. So I started to learn more, and I started to see more. And I'm a type of person who's I'm service driven. I really feel that I can do more, and that there is always more to be done. There's always more work to be done. And as a veteran, as a United States Marine Corps combat veteran, I spent my time in Afghanistan, looking for IEDs, digging up IEDs. And with comes that, comes this inherent duty, I feel like, in my soul, that has been, I guess, just branded into me, that I need to continue working, and I need to continue doing things that are going to better me and better the situation I'm in, which is the situation I'm in is the United States of America, in the state of Florida, within District 89, which I live. So I felt that, by researching it, by seeing it, I felt like I could make a difference in that seat. And by being a state representative, I could go be a voice for my district, a strong outspoken voice that really wants to help on a level that's not self-serving, like a lot of politicians are.
Well, thank you for detailing that. And so, one thing that we've talked about previously is it seems that in order to run for office these days, particularly as a veteran, it kind of seems like you have to have some sort of large backing. If you know, if you're a civilian, usually that means ties to some sort of large company or some sort of large party. As a veteran, typically you need the support of some, soft organization, or having like, the network contacts that, being special operations or something like that brings. But, you were an O3, you were a ground pounder, you were a knuckle dragger, and so you're kind of coming at this from the perspective of just like your average veteran that served overseas, and now they want to serve at home.
Right. And it's just the way that I looked at it, the way that I approached this was I spent maybe 4 or 5 months in the year of 20 last year in 20 or what 2020 2021. Spent about 4 months in 2021 doing research on the district and just trying to see if I could, if it's something that's doable for me in the current status and state that I'm in right now. Is it doable for me? And at the end of the day, I my route was, it started at the university, right? It all started with, the fact that I love Florida, I love where I'm from, I love this area, and I feel like there's no
Born
better
and raised.
born and raised in South Florida and Palm Beach County, and born and raised, raised in District 89 and Green Acres and West Palm and Lantana and Lake Worth and Palm Springs and Lake Clark Shores. I was born and raised here. This is where I'm at. This is where my son is at. This is where my parents were born and raised. So it's like I'm a third generation person of Palm Beach County, of this district. And I just felt that, by starting with my professors who know a lot about politics and local policies and local politics, because they work as like side hustles and side jobs as, political consultants and this and that. So I tapped into that resource. That was the first resource I tapped into. And I said, hey, what do you think about me doing this? And the response that I got was, I think that you would do really well, and I think that you should pursue it. And I said, okay. So when I had that, I said, all right, so I'm going to pursue it more. So then I started to see, all right, so now I've done the research on how to do it, how to get involved. I've had, highly respectable people in local politics that have said, you should do this, you should pursue this. I think you would be very good at it. And with that, I filled out all my paperwork from the state of Florida, which I just went on the supervisor of elections, and you can download all the forms and all the publications for candidates, and you fill out everything that legally needs to be filled out, and you send it to the state, and if everything's in order, they'll approve you to run for office.
Right on. So, not getting too far into the weeds, because I know that most people's experience with politics tends to be more like on the national level, which is obviously very different than
Right.
what happens in a district level. Because as we've said on the podcast before, like everybody pays attention to the presidential elections, but your local elections, your school boards, things like that, they tend to have a larger impact on the day to day lives. So, what are one or two things that you feel like that you would champion for that would be a benefit to your district?
So there's three things that I have and that I'm running on right now that are my three platforms that I want to, pursue if I get into office and when I get into office, and just pursue trying to, form up drum up some sort of legislation, drafting legislation that can kind of address these issues. The first thing is veterans' mental health. Obviously, I'm a veteran. I feel like that there's a lot of inadequacies with veterans' mental health and the supplement treatment that we receive as veterans and combat veterans with their mental health, whole aspect of the VA. There's just more that can be done. I know that the Florida legislative, that the House, they've done things in the past, but I do. There's always room for improvement when it comes to mental health and veterans. So that's number one. My second thing is children's mental health. I have a child. I have a 4-year-old son. He'll be 4 this summer. And my biggest thing is, children's education, his education when he goes to school. What is he learning? What is he taking in? Is he going to be in a type of environment where he's going to be bullied or harassed or um, any sort of weird sexual innuendos are going to be, brought onto my 5-year-old son. That's something that I really, want to make sure and have my hand in. As a state representative, you do have a hand in, state legislation. So and children's education comes with that, house bills and such. So children's mental health, finding new avenues to help children that have disabilities, that have mental health issues, that are in school, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, trying to find mental health routes for these students to take that are going to help them and help them further their lives in a better, more positive environment, more positive mental attitude, and try to help them understand things and help the people who are with them understand their disabilities a little bit more. Um, those that's my second one. My third one is clean waterways, right? So down here in South Florida, especially District 89, we have Lake Clark Shores, we have Palm Springs, we have Lake Osborne, we have canals that run in between our roads. We have Lake Osborne's a giant water system that connects almost throughout the whole throughout the whole county if you stretch it through the canals, and you can do it. So the clean water and the algae systems and the algae blooms that are in our water, and getting clean water to our system, and having fresh water that we can actually drink, that's clean water in the district, and not only going to one municipality but going to all the municipalities in the district, not just favoring one but favoring all the municipalities, so that all the municipalities can have an equal or not greater share of something that are they're more dire in. So say one municipality has really bad water but the other has really great water, filtration systems. Well, why is a lot more allocations and money funding this other municipality where they have great filtration, but this other municipality is not getting the filtration that it needs, right? So that's where the self-serving politicians come in, and they give the allocations. They bring allocations to people that they associate with and that they like. So that's what I don't want to be. I don't want to be biased. I want to be unbiased. I want to bring allocations where they're deserved in our district, for sure.
Well, thank you for that. I definitely see how those could be extremely important to the day to day life of people living there. And so, asides running opposed you in your district, what other ways would you recommend veterans get involved in involving their community? And what advice would you give to any veterans that want to perhaps get into running for local office? As far as like any lessons you've learned, anything that surprised you, or just what advice would you have?
So I would say that if you are interested, and even if you're not interested in politicians and politics, it's not about the people. It's about what you're doing. It's about the job. It's about what the politicians are able to do, and who are the people that you're electing in office, and what are their motivations, and what are their personality traits, and what are their personality types. And what I would say to veterans is, our service is not over. Our service is not done. We did our time in the military, and a lot of veterans come back home and they rest on their laurels and they say, you know what, I did my service. I'm done. I'm going to relax. I'm not going to do anything. I had a hard time. You know what? We all had a hard time. It wasn't fun. It was war. It was Afghanistan. It was Iraq. It was Vietnam. It was whatever it was for you. And it was war, and it was haggard. And we all have our own issues from that. But the problem is that we don't have enough veterans with a strong personality and strong leadership capabilities that are actually taking their wherewithal, their education, their understanding, their worldly understanding, their geopolitical understanding, their personality to the political arena. That's what the political arena needs. The political arena needs more real deal veterans that can grab a hold of whatever in whatever direction that is our country is being ripped apart and pulled in so a multitude of different ways. Listen, there is common ground for everything. Everything relates to the other. Okay. So there isn't a left or a right or this and that. There is a left and a right, obviously, with politics, because there has to be. And there is a, we all have certain ideals and certain things, and we align ourselves with certain things like that. But at the end of the day, we are all one, right? We are the United States of America, right? We are a united coalition of states that works together for the betterment of the next generation underneath us, right? And I feel like that if veterans were more involved in that process, in the legislative process and the lawmaking process, then that we would have a much better view and relationship with our politicians. And on top of that, we would almost, it's like we would flourish more than what we are attempting to flourish with right now. It's a little sad, in my opinion, that veterans just don't care, and it's like, all right, well, if you have kids or grandkids, like, you should care, because it's very selfish of you to just be like, yeah, well, whatever. I don't care about these local politics or policies and anything like that. If you want to know, go on the internet, see what district you live in your state, see who the state representative is in your district on ballotpedia.com. Go on these things, do some research, look around and see who's around, see what their thoughts and what their views are, look at the allocations. Every single state representative, you can go on the webs on the internet and go look at how many allocations and where their allocations go and how much money they're bringing from the state budget down to the district. You can see that, and you can see what's going on. You can see what legislation and bills are being passed. And if you wanted to, you can, you can be like, all right, well, I feel like I can do better than this person. Let me start that process, and if there's any veterans out there that want that sort of help, reach out to me and I will help you. I will show you, I will like try to help you and guide you on how to do that in your state. I'm here for that. And I'm here to help veterans get to the next plane of, service, which is, we love the military. Now let's get into like guiding and shaping and molding our nation forward so our kids and our grandkids can have the type of world that like we envision for ourselves when 12 and 15, that's so, yeah.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So where can people find you on social media, your website, your where are you campaigning at mostly?
So I'm campaigning, I mean, all over. If you live in District 89, if you live in Palm Beach County, you can come volunteer with me. You can come and knock on doors with me, canvass with me, hand out signs, all types of stuff. My website is www.votejustineggen.com. And my social media is, everything is basically just at Justin Thomas Eggen. And that's basically where you can find me. I mean, you can just Google Justin Eggen and everything will come up. The very first thing pops up is my campaign website. So it's pretty accessible for people to go and find me if they want to find me. So yeah.
And is there anything else that you think that we missed? Any misconceptions you wanted to dispel? Anything that you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Yeah, the prequel trilogy for Star Wars is actually really, really, really good. And it's sad that people are so disdainful over the fact that whatever George Lucas did, those movies are beautiful.
I know and if you haven't seen it by now, then I don't care if I'm spoiling it. When Kylo Ren catches that laser blast in one of the very opening parts of the prequel, like that right there, kind of like set the tone for me. Like, okay, like this is a bad dude.
Oh, that was good. I was talking about the prequel from like the early ones with Anakin and stuff. Like when because everybody rags on those movies so much, dude.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. You said that. I messed that up. My bad. I'm just a
Sorry,
huge Kylo Ren
dude.
stan. I
Well,
think his
Kylo Ren
character
is
arc. Yeah,
he's my favorite out of the sequel trilogy. He's my favorite, dude. And especially at the very end of the sequel trilogy when he goes out
yeah.
and he kills all of the Knights of Ren, dude. There is a beautiful montage to that on the internet with some 80s song, and it's freaking beautiful, dude.
I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I'm a huge Kylo Ren stan. I think his character arc was the best in all of
Yeah,
Star Wars, in my opinion.
yeah,
He wasn't a perfect character. You're not supposed to sympathize with him, but at the end of the day, like, what was that? 3 Day Grace. They have the song like "It's not too late. It's never too late."
yeah. Dude,
And
he was beautiful, man. I mean, Adam Driver's a great actor, so that's like
yeah,
it brings it all together. So it just
and
makes
then
sense,
not to mention that, like, he did the thing that Darth Vader couldn't.
right?
Like,
Exactly.
and I'm sure once he turns 18, that'll be another vote for you.
Yeah, that's what's up, buddy. I'll open it. Go back in there. I'm almost done. Kids, man, they're the best.
Yeah. And
He
so
wants he
that
wants
one,
chocolate at 11 o'clock in the morning.
and that almost honestly kind of sounds like it might be your responsibility as a district representative, where metaphorically your district wants chocolate at 11 a.m. and you have to be the adult and be like, no,
Right.
we could eat some kale.
Yeah, we can't do that. We gotta have some eggs and some orange juice and maybe some
Yeah.
coffee.
Some orange juice, man. I miss being able to walk outside and just walk down the block, see an orange tree, pluck an
Oh,
orange off,
dude,
avoid.
that would be incredible. I mean, I wish I lived anywhere near like some orange groves. That would be absolutely. I mean, my dad has a lime tree, but I mean, you can't really necessarily just go eat a lime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the one that I grew up next to isn't there anymore because they they went into development. But
Mm.
it was a nice memory. But yeah, the prequel meme, the prequel videos, Obi-Wan Kenobi is coming out.
Oh,
So
dude.
I really kind of hope that they tie out some loose ends with that.
Yeah.
Like if
Have you
Jar
been
Jar
watching
doesn't
Moon
come out
Knight?
as a Sith.
Have you watched Moon Knight?
No, no, no. I've been waiting till I see AJ again, so that way we can watch that together.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
the uh
So good.
the last season of The Mandalorian, and then Mandalorian season 2.5, or as other people know it, Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Uh, that was pretty good too.
Yeah, I like Boba Fett was good. It was all right. Like they did the whole they did the Mandalorian thing within Boba Fett, which was all right. But I don't know, man.
I personally thought that was the best part of the series.
Exactly, exactly. So it's like, all right, well, why didn't they? I
Yeah,
don't.
they
I feel
just
like they
came in
had
and
to.
just stunted on him.
Yeah, I feel like they had to do that though because they already have like they know where the story is going with Mandalorian season 3, so like they didn't want to go and try to do all that in the very first episode. So they're just like fuck all that.
Yeah.
We're gonna give him the dark saber. We're gonna give him the new vehicle, and we're gonna give him back Grogu, and then we're gonna start season 3, and we're gonna go take back Mandalore.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, back to
Yeah,
the last three. Man, the that one scene with the salt mines, where like when the speeders, it looked like they were like churning up blood from the earth. Like, oh my
yeah,
gosh, that was visually, that was beautiful. That
yeah,
was
yeah,
one of the
yeah.
most beautiful pieces of digital set design that I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, that scene was really beautiful. I mean, that whole like that what was that the crate? I think it was what they called it, crate or something like this the planet was a planet of crate. I don't know. It was cool though.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, Justin has written several movie reviews for us on popsmokemedia.com. One of which being Dune, which was another very visually striking desert movie.
I love Dune. I love that movie. I think I wrote two movie reviews for that movie.
Yeah, yeah, he
Like
loved it
one
so
initially
much.
and then like
Yeah,
one another one, like because I was like, I love that. I love it. I mean, I love Frank Herbert's Dune like series, so I love the movie was incredible. So
yeah. So we have those available. Just go to our website and you can go through the authors, and you can find Justin on there as well. I believe he's also in the About Us section if you want to read more about him. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to joining us, and obviously, best of luck in the campaign. And
yes, sir.
we're very excited to see your journey.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on. I genuinely appreciate it, and it means a lot to me that we can take the time, we can do this, and I can talk about these sorts of things, and we can talk about the district and the campaign, and hopefully more people will hear this and go, you know what, maybe he's right. Maybe I do need to get a little bit more involved.
Yeah, and if you notice, we waited it until after the political talk, and we got the Star Wars talk before a single F bomb was dropped. So we're professionals.
That hey, if that's true, that's pretty good.
All right, my friend. Fair winds following seas. We'll see you next time here in the
Yes,
smoke pit.
sir. Have a nice day.